Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I didn't go live yesterday because I had a lot of things I had to do. Um, I had trucks that I had to deal with, so that comes first. This YouTube stuff is fun and all that, but got to do my job. So good morning. Thought I'd go live. This won't be a long live feed either because I have to go to the dentist here in about an hour. So I'll leave here. I'll probably end this feed about 7:30ish. Let me get this up here. If you go to the Snorelord OG channel, I am now able to. I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but I'm now able to do the community posts, and that's cool because there's a lot of things that are not trucking related that I want to start throwing on that channel, and having the community posts is going to be beneficial to that. We had our trip to Oklahoma City over the weekend, and something I learned a few things about myself and about Oklahoma, and it doesn't sit well with me. So, anyways, we won't talk about that. I don't think we're going to talk about trucking stuff. If you want, we can talk about whatever. A lot of things going on in our world today. Last week, I've noticed. Of course, I try to pay attention to the trends, and I noticed a lot of brokers are reaching out. Hey, do you need a load? I'm getting a lot more emails. I'm getting a lot more brokers reaching out to me, and I'm not sure what the reasoning behind that is. It's like last month they've acted like we're a bother, and now they're seeking us out. But I still think that there's too many trucks on the road, so who knows? Who knows what the dynamics that are going on right there? So we'll do our shout outs. We'll let some people get in here. We've got 32 people in here. I appreciate every single one. I hope you're having a good morning cup of coffee. If you want an awesome mug just like this, go to my Teespring store, which should be in the description. Oh, and off the topic of trucking, I have a friend of mine that does a podcast called Audio Roast, and it's a music podcast. It's not just metal music. He does all kinds of music. Guy named Jared, friend of mine. I will be appearing on his podcast Sunday. I think it's when he premieres them. Now I will be filming it on Wednesday, so that'll be pretty cool. We're going to discuss the history of heavy metal music in Springfield, Missouri. So anyways, let's get to it. Let's do some shout outs, and then we'll go over your comments. And I see Scott has a comment. We're going to go right to that. So, Big Houston, good morning. How are you? Don, how's it going? Hope you're well. Ninja, what's up? Max Force, good morning. TBT, what's up? Mrs. TBT, driving, listening. Jose, good morning. CDN Freight Broker, good morning. Thank you for the email yesterday. I wish I could have helped you. Good morning from the Fuel Island at Love's in Calhoun, Georgia. Make sure you take your 30-minute break there, or better yet, your shower, or your put the carpet down in front of the truck and do your religious thing there. That's what the Fuel Island's for. That's sarcasm, by the way. Truck diver, Lord of all that snores. My dog snores pretty good. I don't know if you guys saw that short. Shannon, good morning. Morning, Scott. Morning, stranger. Yeah, I have been a stranger. I've been the weekend I didn't answer any calls because I was busy doing some major stuff with the wife over the weekend. So we just kind of it was kind of nice to get away. Your channel is your job, slacker. Well, if my YouTube channel was my sole job, I'd be in trouble. If it was my sole source of income, I'd be in trouble. I'm not like just trucking. Trucker Carlson, I like that. Morning, DX Trucking. Good morning. Scott says I get about 20 calls and or emails a day about loads. Yeah, I mean they're really seeking us out now. So I want to know the dynamic because according to FreightWaves, volumes are down, especially reefer volumes, and so it's interesting that we're being sought out now. So and I don't think the truck's capacity has tightened up that much. I think we're still pretty loose, and so it's interesting that that's happening. And I think part of it is that people are leaving. People are parking their trucks. People are leaving it sitting on the dock, as they say. And you know, you can only push low rates that are unsustainable for so long before you start losing your capacity. And that's the nature of that beast, right? So I noticed that with the click and goes. A lot of them will put rates so low that you don't even look at the apps anymore. Next thing you know, you check it once, 3 weeks later, and all of a sudden the rates are good. But I noticed that their volumes are down quite a bit too. Uber usually has like 200 loads in this area, and they have 4. So I mean, volumes are definitely down. So it's I think another aspect, and this is just a theory of mine. YouTube censor is like, what did he say? Theory? Huh? Is that I think that some brokers are tired of dealing with these any meat in the seat carrier fly by night carriers, and especially in the flatbed world, they're still seeking you out because they don't want any Joe Schmo that just learned how to, chain yesterday or never was taught, chaining up their stuff. I'm seeing a lot of reports of loads falling off of flatbed. So I imagine the DOT is going to start targeting them pretty hardcore on the next few blitzes. But I believe that, just like it's important for drivers to know that having a good broker relationship is important. I think some of the smarter brokers who are losing their volumes have realized that's also important. William Buck Brown, waving from home, preparing for an extended weekend trip to the western North Carolina mountains. Awesome. Chicken House in Lafayette, go open hot seat. Provost, what's up, man? Be meaning to talk to you. Nothing urgent, just catching up with you. Excuse me. This tour life, stopping in to say hi and have a great day, all. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you. Greg, good morning. We still on track for today? Freightways pushes the mega carrier agenda. The CEO is a silver spoon frat boy. Oh, I believe that, Brian. I believe that. I definitely believe that. And look, I don't take. See, FreightWaves in the charts that they show is just another tool. And primarily they reflect of what I'm experiencing, right? If I notice that, wow, I'm struggling out of this area more than I used to, and I look and it shows that freight volumes have dropped in that area. So there's so many different dynamics. Sometimes you just, your aerial view can. Sometimes you just got to get in and get to work. I know plenty of people, myself included, that would stay at home, comfortable in your house, and you're looking at the low board, and you're like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. Maybe. Oh, that load's gone. I might do this one. Oh, that load's gone. Next thing you know, you're sitting in the house for 2 days. I've been that guy. In some ways, I still am. But sometimes you just gotta, pull your bootstraps up and get to work and just take that hit coming out of the house and bounce around a little bit, see if you can get somewhere. And and so despite the fact that I pay attention on all these charts and all these load ratios and all the load boards and stuff like that, which is kind of my job, that's what drivers trust me to do, is to help utilize strategies that work for them. I also know that sometimes you just got to get in the truck and just go and stay out for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, and make that happen. Big Houston says you got to be smart when doing flatbed. That's absolutely true. Thank you, Ninja. Says hot seat. Had a new broker to tell me that he took my higher rate simply because I have been operating for years and I sound like I know what I'm doing. It's all about professionalism. There you go, Scott. I've gotten the same thing. There was one broker I called yesterday, and all I heard was hold, and then music started playing. Click. It's like I'm not even dealing with that. So when I call, I'm pretty professional. I don't sit there and what's that low pay, and so making a good impression. I mean, just like when you call a broker and you talk to them on the phone, right away I know whether they're you know whether they're professional or not. And if you can barely finish a sentence and I can barely understand you, or if and I mean just all kinds of those things. And I just that's important to me is being able to have a regular conversation, because how can I do my sales pitch if I can't have a normal conversation with you? Now the email is a little bit easier because you can type it all out, and Google will correct you on your grammar and all that and spelling. But I prefer the phone because number one, it's quicker, and number two, it gives it gives a voice to what you're dealing with, and it allows me the opportunity to show that I'm more professional than the person that just also called you. Email, you can't do that. I mean, you can to a certain extent, but not to the level of a voice. Maybe you could do a community post survey to see how many have sold their truck versus parked their truck waiting for rates to go up or fuel to go down. That's a good idea, CDN. CDN always has great ideas. I'm going to hire him as my producer, my social media network uh, relations person. But that's a good idea, CDN. Remind me that later, please. Pam, what's up? Diesel is about to get crazy high. Yep, it sure is. That's the part that I'm more worried about than the low volumes. Because I don't have an 8 mile per hour or 8 mile per gallon. I think the highest IFTA I had was 7.2. And that was when my tires were pretty close to the end of their lives. As soon as I got new tires, boom, right back down to 6. So, and I don't drive like a bat out of hell. I mean, it's a 2014. It's a truck behind me. It's a 2014. So it's not like these 2023s. I mean, it's an 8-year-old truck. Come on. Pigtail, what's up? TBT USA. You need to be smart in trucking, period, but some are struggling with that concept in general. A lot, not some, but a lot. We're more concerned we're concerned about stupid stuff, right? We're concerned about stupid things and not the important things. And what I've learned in my 50 years I've been alive is that whatever you think about the most is what's going to happen. And if you dedicate 90% of your time to stupid drama stuff that matters nothing in the grand scheme of things, then your life will matter nothing in the grand scheme of things. If you focus 90% of your thoughts on improving your business or what can I do differently or how can I create tragedy into opportunity, not tragedy, but downturn into opportunity, then that's what you're going to get. You're going to get answers. If you're constantly questioning things to learn, you will get answers. What? Seek and ye shall find. That's my wife's contribution. Yeah, bitches, Big Rig CEO in the house. I got a lot of positive comments every time I get him on the show, so that's cool. Friday's show was pretty good. We had a lot of people on. I think that's the most people I've ever had on at once. So we got 8.9 miles per gallon from Georgia to Maryland on our last run. Nice. That's the way to do it. Hey, Snorelord in chat. And a big reality check came to me. So it was last summer that I really started to run quite a bit less. A lot of it was dealing with my mom and moving her up to New York, and I think actually it was the summer before last. And so as the year went on, I ran less and less, and I was running my normal stuff. And then once I started dispatching, that got even more less. That doesn't make sense, but I'm not an English major. But I got quite a bit of reality check on the fuel prices because in the 3-month period that I did not run, fuel jumped. That was when fuel jumped almost 52%. And so I had to take Jeff needed me to go pick up a trailer in Abilene, Texas. And I bobtailed. All the way to Abilene from here, which is about 600 miles. And I could barely get 7 miles per gallon because it was windy as hell. And then I had a headwind on the way home with an empty trailer. And so the fuel bill on that run was just tremendous. And it really kind of gave me a sticker shock of the fuel. And that's the thing. If you can afford a new truck or if you're driving a new truck, you've got an advantage over the guy like me. Even like me, I have an aerodynamic truck, but that thing barely gets above 7. I mean, I got loads that I'll do 7 or 8 or even 9. The first load I did in that truck was a load of empty plastic bottles from St. Louis to Glendale, West Virginia. I had 9.2 on the dash. I was like, holy cow, this is awesome. And it definitely gets a lot better fuel mileage than my Peterbilt did. So I actually started making more money because number one, my truck payment was down and my fuel mileage was up. So it was great. It was a great combination. But now you can't get a new truck for a low price. Now your monthly payment's going to be pretty high. So you have to have good fuel savings to even make it. Excuse me. I'm coffee today. And if you got a brand new truck and don't have good fuel mileage, I don't even know how you're making it. Because every business plan that I've laid out mentally and with other people, you need one or the other. You need no truck payment, and you're not as worried about fuel mileage, or you have a high truck payment with great fuel mileage. But to have both, that's incredibly hard. I'm not saying it's not impossible. I'm not saying it's not, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying that it's definitely going to be challenging, especially this time of year. Historically, fuel goes up. And then you have some news sources talking about we only have 25 days worth of diesel in the country. That I find hard to believe. I could be wrong, but fuel mileage is one of the most important aspects. I mean, and I'll give you a perfect example. I was on one of FreightWaves' live feeds, and Nevada Trucking and Trails was in there, and we were talking about fuel mileage in the chat, and he said that his cost per mile is $1 per mile in fuel. And that him and his wife are spending about $5,100 to $5,600 a week in fuel. That comes out to what, 240 something $1,000 a year? Who's getting rich off of that? Not Nevada. Peterbilt and the oil companies, they're getting rich off of that. And the insurance companies. I got 7.97 MPGs on Lady Quarters IFTA. Nice. This may sound like a crazy idea, but if there's a state providing you decent money, but you have a lot of deadhead home, consider finding a parking spot and drive your personal car back and forth. Schneider actually has what they call they have I forget what it's called, jet set or whatever, where if you live in a bad area, they'll fly you from, let's say you live in Nevada, since we'll bring that up, and Schneider doesn't have a whole lot of freight, they'll do the jet set thing. Well, they'll pay for your flight to where you can park your truck at one of the OCs, and then when it comes home time, you just do that. You just fly home instead of driving the truck. And it makes a lot of sense. So there are people that do that. There were several ICs over there at Schneider that I knew that did the whole. They'd run nothing but the Midwest, but they lived out in Arizona. Well, any of you Schneider ICs, hold on a second. Any of you Schneider ICs know that coming out of Phoenix is a challenge if you want to go back east. So that's not a crazy idea, CDN. There are people that actually do that. PACCAR, best quarter 3 earnings, $7 billion. Go figure. and Provost brings up a really great point. You want to know who's making money? Just look at their quarterly earnings. Look at PACCAR. Look at the brokerages. I talked to a family member with a major brokerage, and she's like, "Oh, we just reported our highest earnings yet." I'm like, "Oh, interesting," because I just reported my lowest earnings yet. And she walked away from the table because she knew she had messed up. But that stuff's public. That stuff's out there public, Those are the people making the money. 2016 Freightliner, awesome. Randy, what's up? Several loads in the last 4 to 6 weeks. My basic calculation is that 50 to 53% of rate is fuel. Crazy to think 50% of load rate is gone by the time you deliver load. That is what's going to take a lot of people out, CDN. If your fuel burn is more than 30% of your revenue, that's a problem. That's something that could be a problem. So let's take Nevada Trucking and Trails. I don't mean to pick on him. I mean, I get along with him. I think he likes me. That $246,000 he's probably spending in fuel a year, I would, if that's more than 30% of his revenue, that's a problem. Because you got so many other factors that are going to take from your revenue, such as truck payments, tolls, maintenance, repair. People go like, "Oh, you gross about $200,000 a year." Yeah, but I net X amount, and they're like, "Oh, well, how does that work?" It's trucking, baby. It's business, really. To be honest with you, I know a local venue that gross about $1 million a year, but take home is considerably less than that after you factor in payroll and you know everything else that goes with running a venue or a bar. That 25-day thing just means that if all production purchasing stops, we have that many days of diesel available in surplus. See, that makes sense. And so you got a lot of people spinning headlines, right? Because that's what sells YouTube clicks, right? That's what sells YouTube clicks. So, anyways, let's do a couple low board things, and then we're gonna call it because I got to be out of here by 7:30. Let's see. Do. Let's put that one up. Now Scott confirms. Here's the other thing. I say things like, "Well, I notice the brokers are doing this, and I notice the brokers are doing this. What are you seeing?" And then people all over the different countries, the different platforms, call me and say, "Yes, I'm seeing the same thing." That's how we got on the whole AI thing with Sage. It's like there's no way that these people are more coordinated than truck drivers. Well, they are because they're using tools to coordinate themselves. It's not like all the brokers get in a secret meeting and go, "All right, let's do everything at $1.60 a mile and see if it sticks." No, they're using tools that go far beyond your comprehension. All right, let's do some hot market maps here. There you is. That's for all trailers. Let's go to van. Let's do van first. Now I was peeking in James Best, and he was talking about mentioning the strategy of going in the states that are always green. And he said eventually that state doesn't stay green because everybody's gone up there. That's how the market works, right? These tools just reflect that. It allows you to make more educated decisions. You have a better chance of finding a load that you're going to like that's going to be a rate that you want it, that you need it at when there's higher volumes coming out of a state. What I tend to do is I tend to stay in the states that consistently have even numbers on both sides. But volumes are the most important thing. Volumes have always been good in Illinois and Ohio for the most part, except reefer, it kind of dropped for a minute. But van, there's been a couple of times that I've been in the spot market that Ohio wasn't that great. And so, and usually I don't discover that till I'm there. And they're like, "Oh crap, kind of sucks right now." Huh. And so I'll bounce to Southeast and back, or I'll bounce to Wisconsin and back, or Minnesota. And so it's a constantly changing thing. And just like California has demonstrated it to us, there was a time where they were screaming for trucks to be in California, but they weren't paying you to go in because you were getting paid to come out. Nowadays, California is fairly even, if not a little bit lower coming out. And there's that transition period where they're not going to pay you to go in or out. So it's not even worth it to go in. Next thing you know, capacity tightens in California. Then they have to bump up the rates just to make it work if they want their freight moved. And that's where the brokers seek you out. The brokers go, hey, you know what? This kind of sucks when we can't get capacity in California. So let's see if we can do something about that. We need to find the truck that's got steady, good freight going into California that needs a spot load out. We want that guy or gal. And a lot of these brokers are starting to lose their contracts. They're trying to keep hold of their volumes. Remember, import volumes at an all-time low. And so there's a lot of freight that's just not there. And so if they lose capacity of the stuff they already have because no one wants to do their stuff, then that's why they're seeking you out right now. At least that's just my theory, my opinion. I know nothing about this world. Jersey's still pretty good. Pennsylvania's usually hot, but you still struggle to get good rates. And the rate thing with Pennsylvania is a challenge because of tolls, because of fuel prices. So yes, PA can be a hotter map or a hotter state on the map, but it could be a challenge to have a good profit margin because of all the external circumstances. All right, so let's do reefer here. A lot more red in the reefer world. This is that I-35 line that I'm telling people not to go down, not to pass. Well, actually, I-35 is through here, but evidently this is the line that you want to stay away from. Now, this tells me that you might be able to make a buck going from California to Washington and back. Texas, you can kind of make your money bouncing around here, which is what a lot of carriers do, especially if you're from Texas. But for the most part, these are the areas you want to be in reefer. Now, Florida's showing 96 outbound, 37 interstate, and 415 inbound. So Florida is still kind of I don't know. Don't go deep. Don't go here. Maybe go here or here. But even then, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas. Arkansas being yellow, that's interesting to me because there's a lot of poultry that comes out of this area. Poultry and eggs. Processed food is primarily up in the upper Midwest. Let's do step deck and flatbed. A lot less green than about 3 months ago. Clickbaits, baby. Yep, that's how YouTube's done, really. Fuel costs plus increased insurance rates plus truck trailer payments plus cell phone, ELD fees and low boards, annual plates plus. Not left bottom of the bucket. It's not easy right now. But this is what makes people stronger, right? This kind of market is what makes you stronger. Those of us who have been through this before, we're not scared. But here's the thing, though. The difference, it's a little bit different this time. The fuel. The fuel is the difference. Back in 2020 when volumes had dropped and they were trying to push those for $1 a mile, you had cheap fuel. So you can run like a coast to coast kind of scenario and still make money. Now not so much. And so it's extra important to have as many tools as necessary to And it now's the time when you have to show your professionalism. Now's the time when you have to be smart. Now's the time to not go out and buy stupid stuff that means nothing to your business. Now's the time not to get a new loan for a new car, a new RV, or a new boat. Now's not the time for any of that if you're in this world. Now, if you have other streams of income, maybe you're going to be okay. But this is going to make or break you, is pretty much how it's going to go. Strong foundations are important. The starting point to survive is finding ways to reduce your monthly expenses. No simple solution for everyone. And that's the problem with YouTube, is that you have people that get on here and say, you have to do this or you shouldn't do that. Me, I'm kind of like, well, you definitely have some challenges. And guess what? There might be a month where you don't make any money. Doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever. Plenty of businesses are in the red during certain times of the year on a normal basis. That's just part of the nature. And trucking is no different. So, with that being said, I got to go. Guys, thanks for watching. 48065 is the code for 123. And I appreciate every single one of you. If you want to try out the low board, you get 30 days for free, and you get to check it out, check out all the tools, and you get everything for $35 a month after that. And I even tapped into all the tools that you have at your disposal. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. I'll try to go live tomorrow. I've got a lot going on this week. And, I know sometimes I burn myself out. So I'm going to start bringing people on. I can only talk about how to survive a market for so long before I'm just kind of sounding redundant. So that's why I like doing these spot reports. It kind of helps me give you guys an image of what I'm dealing with as a dispatcher, what I'm dealing with as a truck driver, and what I'm dealing with as a business owner, but what other people are dealing with as well, and what's working and what's not working. And if I can do that for you, then we just kind of make this industry a little bit better. Be professional when you talk to these brokers. Even if they're not professional with you, kill them with kindness. And if you're not an owner operator and you still enjoy my comment, thank you very much. I'll have more details about the Audio Roast podcast that I'm going to be on later this week. And with that being said, strength for today, hope for tomorrow. I'll leave you with this beautiful, lovely sounds of banging your head against the wall. Peace.